The Simpsons game was first released on October 30th, 2007 for the Nintendo DS, Wii, Xbox 360, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 with a later release on the PlayStation Portable. This game is often remembered as one of the better Simpsons games as it was very faithful to the show to the point of it having the same writers work on it, having all the voice actors reprise their respective roles, and it also having some pretty high quality animated cutscenes. But when it comes down to everything else, mainly the gameplay, everyone kinda says that the actual game qualifies as merely average. So are these claims true, or is this game better than what people lead on? Let's find out. After finding out that they are in a video game, the Simpson family decide to use their newfound powers for their own interests. This quickly changes, however, when aliens begin invading Springfield. Now the Simpsons family must venture through other games as well as the game engine itself to find their creator and save the day. The graphics are the perfect representation of the Simpsons world in the third dimension. Just about every character, building, and location from the show has been lovingly recreated in 3D to the best of the 7th generation of consoles' ability. There are also the very unnecessarily highly detailed looking effects in this game such as the explosions and the lighting, but hey, I'm not complaining. Lastly, I do want to quickly reiterate about how great the animated cutscenes are, as they truly do look as if they were ripped straight from the show. The gameplay is your standard 3D platforming fare with platforms to jump across, enemies to defeat, puzzles to solve, collectibles to collect, and special moves to be used, and that's really it. Although the objectives in each level may be different, the means to complete them is most of the time just to defeat all the enemies in an area, then use the special power of whichever characters you are currently playing as to progress on through. Now, although I will say that it is fun to use these special powers, the game can get a bit repetitive and stale because of the aforementioned gameplay formula. Finally, I will say that the few times when the game does decide to shake up the gameplay, mainly in the form of recreating old arcade games, that it's done well and is a fun mix-up from the regular gameplay. The controls are a bit stiff but manageable. I say this because all the characters seem to have a bit of weight to them, making their jumping speed delayed by half a second after hitting the A button. This is also true when moving the characters, as it also takes a second for them to move, as well as them taking a second to turn to the direction you want them to move in instead of immediately turning. There are 16 episodes in the game that will take you from competing in an eating contest at the Duff Brewery and starting a riot in the streets of Springfield to saving the world from an alien invasion and fighting your way through heaven to speak to God. Each episode also has a diverse set of environments, enemies, music, obstacles, and objectives, which makes 2 episodes never feel the same, and each one feels truly unique in its own way. Honestly, this game isn't that hard. To start off, you have infinite lives, which means you can retry a certain point of a level as many times as you want without getting a game over and being sent back to the beginning of the stage. Although having said that, this is somewhat balanced out by the characters not being able to take much abuse and being knocked down pretty easily, especially since the enemies try to surround you and trap you in for a pounding. There are also many insta-kill pitfalls, unswimmable liquids, and death grounds littered throughout the game. But other than that, the game doesn't really pull any punches and is overall a steadily average difficulty ride all the way through. The music for this game is good, but it doesn't contain anything really special or interesting outside a remix of the Scorpions song Rock You Like a Hurricane. Most of the music is just a bit too mundane and quiet, which I will say works for the ambience that the game has while playing, but the drawback of this is that it won't stay with you after playing, while the actual good action-packed music is too far placed between each other to give a lasting impact. Regardless, I would still say that the music in this game fits the levels as well as the Simpsons world well. So to answer the question posed at the beginning of this review, I would say that the Simpsons game is indeed your 3D basic platformer that is solely elevated by charm. This is a game that lives and dies on charm and charm alone. The gameplay, although not the worst in even the Simpsons series of games, is very bland and forgettable, and if it wasn't for everything else surrounding it, this game would have been forgotten about. And because of that, I would still recommend this game. Thanks for watching.